Okay, so Be'ezras Hashem, we're digging deeper into the light of Chanukah, and we're going to focus on the avodah of simcha, the avodah of joy that's kindled and sparked within the lights of Chanukah itself. Menucha v'simcha orla Yehudim. The light for the Jewish people brings menucha and simcha, calmness and joy. Calmness and joy bring light for the Jewish people, and the light of the Jewish people brings calmness and joy. It goes in both directions. But when we're trying to kindle menucha v'simcha, a calmness and a joy, menuchas emes sha'at tarotzeba, a true form of calmness, rooted in fundamental joy that you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, desire of us, that you desire of us, and therefore you give it to us. Ki meitcha hi menuchasam. And we take it and we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look, we're calm. V'al menuchasam yakdishu et shemecha. The calmness is a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's the thing that we offer back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though we know that it's a gift given by Him. And in that way, we cultivate and we spark a life of calmness, menuchas hanefesh, yishuv hadas, which are the only tools available to enable us to enter into the palace of simcha. Mashiach Tzidkenu, the light of Mashiach is Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav. Yismach is the osios Mashiach. Then Mashiach, the light of Mashiach, the light of revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's unity, the revelation that all separation and disparity is ultimately part and parcel of a singular flow of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's unified light. The joy comes from within that place. It comes from within the place of constriction. But the goal of kindling all the lights is or tzadikim yismach, to tap into the light of the tzadikim who live with a joy that is not dependent on anything, a joy that is not rooted in the externalities of this world. It's not an externalized joy, it's the interiority of joy. And because it's an interiority of joy, therefore that joy is independent of all things. It's rooted in nothing other than the simchas hanefesh, the truth and the joy of being alive. That joy, that unconditional light, that unconditional calmness that rests at the base of the self, no matter what's happening, no matter what's going on. That's the light of Mashiach Tzidkenu as it drips down into our consciousness for the time being. The true light of Mashiach Tzidkenu will be a light of revelation that we can't fathom, but for now we get to draw it down in the secret of Olamecha Tira B'chayecha, seeing your world in your days from within your own orientation, to taste of that light of the future, that simcha, that avodah b'simcha, that yismach Hashem b'ma'asav, that calmness and that goodness that abides within the soft glow of the candles. Rebbe Nachman, in the second teaching, in the second volume of Likutei Moharan, Yemei Chanukah, in describing the mechanism of Chanukah, which is to bring about a consciousness of gratitude, of seeing pockets of emptiness and then suddenly being able to fulfill them with a light and a joyfulness, which gives birth to a joyful life, the ability to taste of that playfulness of the future. So Rebbe Nachman describes how ultimately the pathway towards joy has to first and foremost go by way of understanding the separation. Because Shabbos is joy, Shabbos is unity, Shabbos is the revelation of the Nes, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world and continues to create the world at every moment. And that divine vitality is flowing down into every aspect of existence, no matter how concealed, at every single split second of a second, without which the vitality of the thing would cease to exist. That Mamali Kalalman V'Soiviv Kalalman, those revelations are the mindfulness of Shabbos. Shabbos is a nes, Shabbos is joyful, Shabbos is without burden. It's the recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's unity of Efes Zulaso. But then there's also the days of the chol, there's the days of mundanity, there's the days of emptiness that appear to be devoid of the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that appear to be chulin, that appear to be rooted in the natural order of things, the teva ha'olam. It's a time where the consciousness is rooted in how Hashem runs the world through celestial forces, natural order, referred to in general as metatron, which is the place of chinuch and chanuch, and the world operating in its normal way of looking, the hanagas hateva. And there's these two frames. There's the frame of Shabbos, which is the joyful recognition of unity, and there's the frame of separation and sadness, which is living in a realm of disunity and dysregulation. And the avodah of Chanukah, the true joy that comes through gratitude and the gratitude that comes about through joy, is our capacity to acknowledge the light of unity down in the territories of concealment, to draw the light of Shabbos down into the territory of the Chol, to draw the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu down into the Hanhagas HaTeva of Matat, to draw the Shem Havaya into the Shem Elokim, to draw the light from above down Lamat Me'asar Tfachim. That's going to be the true source of joy. Yismach Hashem b'ma'asav. It's going to be only in the realm of Maisa. The Maisa is the Iker, the Torah and the mitzvos, our capacity to do good, to do more good, to reveal more good, to reveal more of our inner goodness. It's there that the specific light of joy is going to be sparked when we're able to reveal how the light of Shabbos and unity descends down beneath the number line and it expresses itself within the territories of sadness and concealment. As Rebbe Nachman explains, the need to force sadness into the dance of joy. That's the light of Chanukah. That's the joy of Chanukah. Rebbe Nachman says as follows, that the days of the week, the days of Chol, are the aspect of sadness. And even the mitzvahs that a person does in those times are still in the aspect of sadness. Because in the days of the week, it's the realm of Metatron. And Metatron is the aspect of serving God like a servant, which is the aspect of sadness. But on Shabbos, it's the aspect of a child where there's calmness that comes to the worlds above and below, and joy is sparked, and joy begins to emerge. And at that place, there's an ascension and there's an ascent of all of the mitzvos and all of the activism that we engaged in the days of the week from within the sadness. And what is drawn down onto them is a calmness and a joy, a menucha v'simcha. In the aspect of, and there was a son born to us, and his name was Noach, and he brought about calmness and relief to the sadness of the hands. This is the aspect of Shabbos, the aspect of being a son of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the aspect of Noach, the aspect of calmness above and below. It brings about comfort. It draws forth joy from within all of the sadness, and the secret of you will be comforted. And when we're meritorious of living with a consciousness of Shabbos, the consciousness of direct speech, of the ability to break through all of the boundaries and continue to share light, in that way, we draw down the holiness of joy of Shabbos into the changes of the 6 days of the week. And in the changes of the 6 days of the week, we draw joy into all of the difficulty. We draw unity into the chamber of changing colors. We reveal the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu through all of the shifts. That's the true place of Simcha. That's the true place of joy. This is the secret of the days of Hanukkah, to draw joy down into the place of its apparent opposite and to tap into that goodness, to tap into the goodness and the light. Rebbe Nachman explains that the only way to do this, the only way to truly reveal the light of joy down here in our lives is through Torah and mitzvos. Why is it that it's only through Torah and mitzvos? Because Torah and mitzvos, the secret of the halacha, the secret of Hariyu LaHashem Kol Haaretz, it's the ability of finding HaKadosh Baruch Hu within the pockets of this worldliness. The entire orientation of transforming this physicalized world, this world that appears to be so limited and divided into indivisible points, how all of that pratiyat, all of that particularization and the particularization of the particularization and all of the descent down into this worldliness, it becomes transformed to be the site in which we encounter the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoido va'atzmo kaviyachol. There's no joy greater than the recognition that in the lowest place imaginable, in the bottom of the bottom, where things become physical, where things congeal and things appear to be real in a real sense, and the light of God is not present, and it appears that a person can be distant from God for a moment, and it appears that a person can lose sight of their connection to God, how specifically in that place we can transform this lowly place into the kingdom of HaKadosh Baruch Hu by doing mitzvos. The dir betachtonim, engaging in physical matter in this world to transform it into holiness. And this is the reason that it's about coming down here into the particularized territory. The entire purpose of the neshama to come down into this world is to spark light within the body itself, to reveal how the body itself is going to be the site of joy. That's doing mitzvos with joy, of engaging in this worldly reality, the mitzvos of contemplating HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the mitzvos of having emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the mitzvah of having bitachon in Hashem, the mitzvah of believing in the fundamental unity of Hashem, the mitzvah of having ahavas Hashem and yiras Hashem, the mitzvah of remembering the Exodus and remembering redemption on a daily basis, the mitzvah of trying to reveal light in a world that appears to be dark, the mitzvah of being kind to others, the mitzvah of loving our fellows as ourselves, the mitzvah of rectifying the world, of transforming this world into a garden, of affixing tefillin on ourselves to transform the body itself into a garment that shines with osios. to love our spouses, to be kind to our children, to love our neighbors, to be kind to people. The world is filled with opportunities for mitzvahs. The world is filled with opportunities to spread light and to shine light, and it has to be done with joy. We have to enter into those moments of goodness and sharing light with the world, and there has to be a pre-existing state of joy that is rooted in nothing other than the simcha of atzmus HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kaviyachol, the radical light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what the Rebbe Rashab describes. The Rebbe Rashab describes in the end of Taf Reish Ayin Vav, in the end of Taf Reish Ayin Beis, Hemshech Ayin Beis, he describes the true nature of joy. He describes the true light that we're trying to reach in encountering HaKadosh Baruch Hu by way of joy. And he says as follows: in the future, there's going to be a revelation of the infinite light on the lowest levels, literally as it is on the highest levels. And it's not going to be considered a surprise. It's not going to be a wonder. It's not going to be a wonder that the day laughs at the night. It's the opposite of how we look at nature nowadays. Nature nowadays appears to be the polar opposite of the infinite light. But in truth, it's always been true that down here, the infinite light is as revealed as it is above. That's been revealed by way of hidden miracles, the miracle of the Exodus from Mitzrayim, the miracle of the splitting of the sea, the giving of the Torah. Even in the times of the Tanaim and the Amoraim, there were revealed miracles. There were nisim that were nipal, al-yidei tzadikim. But it's still in the way that we function, where we function with a lower space that operates in accordance to Teva and Metatron and that place of Atzvus, and an upper space, which is the place of unity. So it's always going to be a wonder to us when we see that the light of above descends down below. It's always going to be nifla v'meroimim in our eyes. That's why a nes comes from a language of romamus, something that is transcendent. And so too with regards to the tzaddikim themselves, who experience their own nes of receiving the inner quality of Pnimiyas HaTorah in a way that nobody else was receiving it. That was considered a nes. The tzaddikim were a nes in their capacity to receive that light. Gal Einai Va'abita, that Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai was a nes. And the Rebbe Rashab says, but that's only now. But in the future, it's not going to be a wonder to see the light of godliness down here. It's not going to be a wonder to find the light of Hashem in each and every part of our lives. The honor of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be revealed in such a way where everybody in the entire world, the bodies themselves, the soul in the body is going to be able to receive the illumination of the infinite light itself. Everybody will know the innermost quality of the Torah. Everybody will know the secrets of Pnimiyas HaTorah that Mashiach is going to teach the nation, to the degree that each and every person is going to be able to be a prophet. As the pasuk says, that your children will become prophets. And in that time, in the future, it's going to be the natural order of things. That realm of Atzvus, that realm of Matat, the Rebbe Rashab doesn't say this, that's Rebbe Nachman, but it's going to be transformed to be the site of the revelation of Havaya. It's going to be totally natural for the fundamental revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite light to be below as it is above. And all of the neshamos, even the neshamos in Bri, Yitzir, and Asiya, the lowest neshamos imaginable, the neshamos that the Rebbe Shlita writes about in the Hakdama to this year's Yam HaChachma Tafshin Pevav, which is the secret of neshamos that are so shafel that it can't be referred to as a neshama. Those neshamos have to have a ha'ara of this remarkable light, and they'll be able to receive the essence of that infinite light. And the only reason this is going to be true is because there's going to be a revelation of a joy of the future, which is the secret of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's joy that he has with his creation. That there's going to be a simcha of such proportion that it's going to be as if the innermost quality of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light is being revealed, and it's going to reveal the fundamental and essential pleasure within the self as it orients itself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the work of Nishmas Yisrael. That this joy is going to shift the very nature of existence. It's going to shift the way in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed his infinite light prior to this. Because now, as a result of this joy, is this unconditional joy, this presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light, specifically through this lowly world, through the mitzvos, through the particular points of constriction, when we reveal the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to transform that darkness into light, which is the secret place of transforming sadness into joy and being mehapech meriru l'matiku, and tasting the sweet light of Shchinta Kadisha that exists specifically down within the innermost quality of the 10 layers of merirus. In that place, the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be revealed as it is above, literally. And it's going to be revealed down below even more, because it's mitzad the kelim, it's mitzad the body itself, from within the place of Atzvus, from within the Merirus. The souls are going to be able to partake. They're going to be able to understand the light of Yesh Ayin, even as it descends down into the body. There will always remain separation, but the separation will no longer be divisive. It won't be a divide. It will just be a point of drawing forth more light. That all the bodies and all of existence and all of the particulars go to be transformed into vessels for the revelation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite light. This is the true joy of above, down below, as it's going to be revealed in the future. And so too, this is the joy that's going to be for Nishmas Yisrael when they come to a place of Simchas Olam Aroishim. Nagil v'nismachabach, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, Kaviyachol. That the soul within the body is going to be able to taste of this. And even though we can't taste of this yet, nevertheless, there's always a hitznotzitz. And anything that can be tasted in the future, there's a spark of it now, and that's the lights of Chanukah. That's the secret of Menucha v'Simcha or La Yehudim, to be joyous with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to realize that as Rebbe Nachman screamed out to us, that Chazak et atzmachem lios b'Simcha, that strengthen yourselves to be in a state of joy. Chazak et atzmachem, it takes work. There's an avoida of Simcha. It's an avoid of the machshava. Besimcha is osios machshava, to transform the mind from a place of marirus and to be mahapechid into a place of masikus, of tasting the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of leaning into the moment calmly and to see the lights that abound in spite of the darkness that surrounds and to believe in light. Chazaket atzmachem lios besimcha, to transform darkness into light and somethingness into nothingness, and besimcha teitzeu, with simcha we exit the confinement of the self, and we realize we tap into the secret of the shemen mishchas kodesh, the shemen which is the place of joy itself, the secretion of godliness within the mind, and the yichud of Abba v'Ima, of chachma and bina in the mind and the heart, externally and internally, to draw forth that innermost quality of ruach hakodesh and nevuah and hispoidedus, and speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the deepest place of vulnerability in the secret of Schoit Yitzchak, laughter of Yitzchak Tzaddik, and Yitzchak Avinu, the light of redemption, the light of Geula, the light of Choshech that's transformed into light. And in that place of Chazaket Atzmachem Lios B'Simcha, that's strengthening ourselves to be in a state of joy, we have the ability of revealing the deepest light imaginable, the joy of Yismach Hashem B'Ma'asav, our ability to lean into a moment of comfort, to trust, to be connected, to feel okay and all right and safe, and to live with the consciousness of Ein Siluk Moichin La'olam. Any level of spiritual grasp that a person has ever had, any level of goodness that a person has felt, any kirva, any closeness that a person has felt, it doesn't matter where it feels that it goes. It doesn't matter how far down it seems to evade you. It doesn't matter how far away it seems. It's still there. Ein siluk moichin la'olam. The Shemin reveals that there's always a rishimu. Natata simcha belibi. You once placed joy within my heart, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and now I just have to seek it out. I have to dig it out of the dust, out of the darkness. And his uri me afar kumi, that a person has to awaken themselves, to strengthen themselves. That simcha is poiretz gedarim, as the Rebbe Rashab points out. That it breaks down all of the barriers, it breaks down all of the blockages, it gets rid of all of the stuckness, and it allows the soul to feel okay and to take a deep breath, and to be at ease for a moment, and to trust, and to be in a state of bitachon and simcha amitis with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with amuna and bitachon on the right of me, to the left of me, with tainug in the middle, all of the hashra'ah that comes about by way of amuna. This is the secret of simcha. This is the secret of transforming the darkness into light. This is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be revealed. The tata simcha belibi, to taste of the reshimu of the simcha. As the Torah's Chacham teaches us, Ein siluk moichin la'olam, just as the shemen does not leave the vessel ever. Moichin never leave. There's no such thing as katnas hamoichin. Katnas hamoichin is a form of moichin. It's a form of encountering HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When a person realizes that, then it's just one step away from transforming that place into simcha and seeing the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu everywhere. That drawing forth a simcha that is independent of all circumstances, independent of all externalization, independent of all reality. It's a simcha that's rooted in the most fundamental truth of all, which is the etzem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's so everywhere revealed it can't be grasped, but it's everywhere revealed, beginning, middle, end, beyond the beginning and the middle and the end. And when a person taps into that moichin, they draw forth the simcha of emunah that's mamtik all of the stekos and all of the darkness. And from that place, a person continues to grow and to be moisif, to reveal more light, slightly more light within each and every crevice of a person's life, Be'ezras Hashem.